Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. Today I thought I'd make a video that's a bit different from my normal videos. I'm going to share with you my experience seeing a psychic healer. Dun, dun, dun. This summer I went to do a yoga retreat in the south of France, and I met a woman in this area who told me about a friend of hers and who was a psychic healer. And I'd met some other people in the same village in the kind of expat community there who all recommended this woman. And she wasn't online or anything like that. It was all kind of word of mouth. And yes, they were all speaking very highly of her and how she had helped them. I was very intrigued by this because I am quite into my woo-woo stuff, but I do consider myself to be quite a grounded person as well. I do feel as though I am also a little bit psychic myself, or I'm very kind of into, or how would I say it? I'm very developing my intuition a lot. Anyway, I decided to go along and see this woman, and as soon as I went there, she was Irish as well, so I felt like we had this connection because I feel like that a lot of the cross that I have to bear is kind of because of my Irish heritage, or this kind of very strong Catholic roots, which really for me has been a source of pain for so much of my life. And also it has been my massive muse for me. It's definitely the reason why I do what I do. It's kind of, I'm really happy that I've had this upbringing because it gives me two perspectives on life. I mean, I obviously have a liberal perspective, but also I understand that kind of deep repression and female struggles of in general. I do think it has inspired me, and also some of the best memories I have as a child have been when I was in Ireland running free and playing hide and seek in the countryside, which was very exotic for me growing up in Manchester in the city. So anyway, when I found out that the woman was Irish, I thought she would understand a lot of my pain. And anyway, as soon as I arrived at her house. It was such a beautiful, beautiful place with views of the Pyrenees. It was just a beautiful day as well. And I felt a massive sense of peace as soon as I walked into her house and I saw her. And I sat down and just kind of like cried. I felt like I was really kind of getting rid of a lot of tension. And I'm not going to go into so many details about what she told me, because I do think you have to take these things with a pinch of salt. And also when you go to kind of if you try and do some kind of psychic healer or anything, I think often we are doing it when we're in a moment of need or suffering. So I think you have to be very, very, very careful, especially you shouldn't do it so often, or try to just do it once or twice, or maybe not repeat, because I think sometimes people can become reliant on these things and they can think that someone else outside their life has the answers, so to speak. And anyway, I found that this experience was a very good experience. She told me a lot of things about that she sensed from me about my family, my upbringing, without me telling her. But I do know that these people can kind of read a lot from someone as well. And something that she did tell me that I did find very useful was that I needed to connect with my divine feminine, and it's really seems really true to me because I've always been in the masculine a lot of my life. I've been a doer, a rebel, and whereas sometimes just kind of getting into the feminine and just being in a more kind of flow state does kind of feel that I need to do that in a lot of areas in my life and just kind of let go of things. So I'm kind of working on that now at the moment, or have been since then. And she also told me that I was already clairsentient, but when I get my back fixed, I'll be clairvoyant. And I always have felt that I do have kind of psychic leanings in my life, but it's not something I would want to profit from or anything. I just think it's a great tool to kind of have for oneself. And I do feel very, very clairsentient, but the idea of being clairvoyant does freak me out a lot. And when she told me to kind of sort my back out, that made sense to me because I've been struggling with a chronic hip pain thing for a long time, but now I'm actually doing acupuncture, which has been amazing. And so I just feel that, and she told me I was in the middle of an ascension process, and I was kind of like blocked in the birth canal, and I do feel like I've been going through an ascension process now for about 3 or 4 years. So that was good to know, and she did some healing on my chakras, and it's like doing all this kind of weird kind of things, getting some kind of the negativity out of my space. And what was interesting afterwards was when I was telling people about all the details of all the things that she told me, someone said, didn't she tell you to go back 2 more times? Because she usually does 3 healing sessions. And I said, no, it was just 1. And I was kind of glad about that, because I was just thinking, Jesus was a healer, if you believe all that. And he didn't say come back every Thursday at 3 o'clock for another session. It was like a one-time thing. So I kind of feel that that's all I needed, really. And I think it's really important, if you kind of try and do any types of healing like that, to kind of not get caught in the trap or addicted to it. 'Cause it is a nice sensation to just focus on you for a while and speak to someone that you think has the answers, but all the answers are within. And that's something she did say to me all the time, is that she was just reflecting like what I was giving out already. She wasn't kind of like I don't know, how would I say it? She wasn't just like kind of looking into a crystal ball. She was like picking up from things that I was already kind of maybe subconsciously communicating. Yeah, so it was a great experience, and it made me think a lot about my life as well. And she also talked about the feminine, one part of the feminine which I am not living, which is motherhood. And she told me that could be an experience, to have a complete experience of the feminine, and it kind of like planted a seed in my brain, and I thought, shouldn't I? And to be honest, I'm not really someone who has wanted to have children. I've made a couple of videos here already about my happiness as being a child-free person, but for me, I'm not kind of against it or for it. If it happened like miraculously, I would kind of accept it as a blessing, but I'm not the kind of person who would kind of go and spend all my hard-earned cash on IVF because I really want to be a mother either. I really kind of feel sorry for people who are not in the situation they want to be in, and they're just kind of craving this life that they feel they can't have. I do feel for people like that, but I'm kind of okay with not being a mother. But anyway, it did make me kind of like think about it briefly, and when I had to come back to Barcelona, I had to take 3 different trains, and on the first train there was this baby. He was around 6 months old, and he was like sleeping with his hands up like this. You can see the belly rising and falling. I just thought how cute it was. And then when he woke up, the mother like picks him up and gives him some kisses, and she was like very, she had lots of bags as well, but she was very patient with this baby. And every time, and the train was crowded, I was thinking, wow, that's hard work to kind of do that, and travel with all this kind of luggage. You've got a baby and the train's packed, it was very, very difficult. And then I was on the last train back on first class, and there was this awful kid there, oh my God, just screaming and shouting. And it made me think, why do they let children in first class? And I got really kind of annoyed. So all the kind of romantic notions of having a baby kind of like died in that train for me. And I didn't really blame the kid though. I was just thinking, how can these parents just not think about anyone else and just all this random screaming? And they should have kind of like brought them out to between the carriages to kind of calm them down, or told them to calm down. They just didn't do anything. It was so annoying. Anyway, yeah, I'm one of those people who thinks that, planes shouldn't really have children on. Well, that sounds a bit bad, maybe. But I mean, I'm just not really... Actually, I'm more bothered by dogs barking than kids screaming. But yeah, I do blame the parents more, though. Anyway, so that was my experience seeing a psychic healer. And she told me I should go and see one of her friends who is a chiropractic, and I've decided that was a bit too difficult. I kind of thought, because this area of France was so amazing, I could imagine just going back there several times. But I've decided to kind of like get my back sorted here in Barcelona, and I've been doing acupuncture. I'm going for my last session tomorrow, and I feel like I've made lots and lots of progress, and that my hip is kind of like a million times better now. So hopefully all my psychic powers will kick in very soon. Yeah, so what about you? Have you been to a psychic healer, or a clairvoyant or anything like that? I would love to read about your experience below. Or do you think it's all a load of nonsense? That's also interesting. Anyway, I would love to read your comments in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions for new videos, don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org, and I will see you very soon.